Hey there, explorers! Welcome back to our channel, where we delve deep into the teachings and principles of Christianity and embark on a transformative journey through the realms of faith and spirituality. Have you ever looked up at the night sky, seen the moon glowing a deep red, and felt a strange sense of wonder, maybe even unease? There's something hauntingly beautiful about a blood moon. It's mysterious, it's rare, and for thousands of years people have believed it carries a message. But what exactly is a blood moon, and more importantly, what does it mean in the Bible? Let's take a step back and explore this together. First, let's talk about what's happening scientifically. A blood moon is the name given to a total lunar eclipse. This happens when the Earth moves directly between the sun and the moon. As it does, it casts a shadow over the moon, blocking out direct sunlight. But here's the twist. During a total lunar eclipse, the moon doesn't just disappear into darkness. Instead, it takes on a reddish color, almost like it's been dipped in rust. Why does that happen? It's all because of Earth's atmosphere. Sunlight travels through the atmosphere before reaching the moon. As it passes through, the blue light gets scattered away, just like during a sunset, while the red and orange wavelengths continue through. That red light bends around the Earth and softly lands on the moon's surface, giving it that eerie red hue we call a blood moon. Now, while we understand the science today, people in ancient times didn't have that knowledge. To them, the moon turning blood red wasn't just a fascinating spectacle, it was a powerful sign, a sign from the heavens, a warning, or even a prophecy. Different cultures had their own interpretations. The ancient Mesopotamians believed that a blood moon was a sign that their king was in danger, possibly facing death. They even had rituals to protect the king during such events. The Incas believed that a jaguar was attacking and eating the moon, and they would make loud noises to scare it away. Native American tribes often believed that a red moon meant the moon was sick or needed healing. In many cases, these celestial events were taken very seriously. So, how does all of this connect to the Bible? The Bible, especially in prophetic books, often refers to the moon, the sun, and the stars as signs. These aren't just poetic metaphors, they're symbolic markers tied to divine messages. And while the exact term blood moon isn't found in Scripture, the imagery is very similar. Take the book of Joel, for example. In Joel chapter 2, verse 31, it says, "The sun will be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord." That's a very direct reference to a phenomenon like a lunar eclipse. The New Testament echoes this in Acts chapter 2, verse 20, and again in Revelation chapter 6, verse 12, where the Apostle John describes a vision of the end times. He writes, "I watched as he opened the sixth seal. There was a great earthquake. The sun turned black like sackcloth made of goat hair. The whole moon turned blood red." This is powerful imagery. Earthquakes, darkness, a blood-red moon, all leading up to a time of divine judgment and the return of Christ. Now, some people have taken these verses very literally. You may have heard of the blood moon tetrad. This refers to a rare series of 4 total lunar eclipses in a row, each about 6 months apart. In 2014 and 2015, there was a tetrad that aligned with major Jewish holidays, Passover and the Feast of Tabernacles. Some Christian pastors like John Hagee and Mark Biltz believed that these alignment was more than coincidence. They suggested that these celestial events might be warning signs pointing to prophetic times. It's worth noting that tetrads have only happened a handful of times since the time of Christ, 55 times in over 2,000 years. And when they align with religious festivals, the pattern feels even more compelling to some. But here's a really important point. Jesus gave a clear warning about jumping to conclusions. In Mark chapter 13, verse 32, he says, "But about that day or hour no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father." That's a sobering reminder not to get too caught up trying to predict the exact timing of the end times based on celestial events. God doesn't want us to live in fear every time the moon turns red. He wants us to live in faith. The Bible isn't just a collection of predictions, it's a guide for how we live our lives today. So while blood moons are fascinating and may very well hold symbolic meaning, our primary focus shouldn't be on counting eclipses. Instead, it should be on the condition of our hearts, the strength of our faith, and the way we treat others. Let's take another look at the moon. not through the lens of fear, but through the lens of purpose. In Genesis chapter 1, verse 14 to 15, God says, "Let there be lights in the vault of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as signs to mark sacred times and days and years." The moon is a gift from God. It gives light in the darkness, it governs the tides, helps regulate seasons, and even inspired early calendars. Before smartphones and clocks, people used the moon to guide them, to tell them when to plant crops, when to rest, when to celebrate. Even today, the moon quietly serves us without asking for attention. And maybe that's part of the lesson. Maybe, just like the moon reflects the light of the sun, we're called to reflect God's light in a darkened world. So when the moon turns red, what should we do? Not panic, not jump to apocalyptic conclusions, but pause, reflect, remember that God is in control, not just of the skies, but of everything. Remember that we are part of a story that stretches far beyond our own lives. Remember that even the most awe-inspiring signs in the heavens are ultimately pointing us toward the Creator. Blood moons might stir questions in us, but maybe that's exactly the point. They remind us to stay watchful, to stay grounded, to stay faithful. The truth is, the Bible does talk a lot about the return of Christ, more than 300 times in the New Testament alone. And yes, about 25% of biblical prophecy remains unfulfilled. That means we're still living in a time of expectation, a time of preparation, not preparation for disaster, but for hope. Because for believers, the second coming of Jesus isn't something to dread, it's something to long for. It's the promise of restoration, of peace, of eternity with God. So the next time you see a blood moon, take a moment to look up, not with fear, but with wonder. Let it remind you that the heavens still declare the glory of God. Let it nudge you toward faith, toward prayer, toward a deeper connection with the one who set the stars in place. Because while blood moons may come and go, the message behind them remains timeless. God is speaking. The question is, are we listening? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to our channel for more content like this, and sharing it with fellow Christians seeking a mindful connection with God. Don't forget to hit the like button if you found this video helpful, and feel free to leave a comment below to share your thoughts with us. Keep your heart steady, your eyes lifted, and let the heavens remind you, some signs are meant to stir wonder, not worry. Stay blessed, and see you next time.